The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as the potential for the discussion about topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the persons making them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised. Meri Kuriisimasu, and welcome to episode 49 of the Neat Glass sponsored Whiskey Tangent podcast. I am Scott.
I'm Ed.
And if you recall, about 18 months ago, we recorded our first foray into the world of Japanese whiskeys for episode 26, in which we tasted Suntory Toki and Nikka Coffee Malt, feasted on some surprisingly tasty Japanese snacks, and talked about how Japan single-handedly saved the U.S. bourbon industry during the 1980s. And because we tasted only one other Japanese whiskey on the podcast since then, we thought it was about damn time we headed back to Japan and tried 3 new Japanese expressions, gorge ourselves on some Japanese candies, and also, as this is serving as our holiday episode, giving out some presents to the 3 guests joining us tonight if they behave themselves. And those guests are, first, the man who brought us those 2 whiskeys on that original Japanese episode, our friend and bartender extraordinaire, Anders, the master mixologist.
Hello there.
As well as 2 lounge friends who you previously heard on our most popular cocktail episode ever, Does Your Vermouth Vermatter, the whiskey power couple themselves, Rachel.
Hi.
And Marty.
Hey.
And as usual, Ed's going to kick off the evening's festivities by telling us which Japanese whiskeys we'll be exploring and hopefully adoring tonight.
Right, so we try to get 3 different distilleries involved, kind of like a variety. One's relatively new and unknown. One's relatively inexpensive and award-winning, and one is what we would consider a special and a little bit of an uptick expression.
Elite.
So the first one we have is the Hatozaki Whiskey. It's a blended Japanese whiskey with about 80 proof. Then we have the Mars Iwai 45. This one was on Whiskey Advocate's top 20 last year. 90 proof. It's a little bit of an uptick for Japanese whiskey, I think. And then we're going to be finishing up with the Hibiki Japanese Harmony, one that I've wanted to have on here for a long time. This is an 86 proof. All these are blended Japanese whiskeys, and I'm really excited, particularly about 2 and 3, and I'm curious about number 1.
Yeah, because Hatozaki, Ed, you just picked this up. We didn't really know what it was, but there's a plethora of Japanese whiskeys out there. You go to a liquor store that has Japanese whiskeys, and they have like dozens. And you really have to, we'll talk about this as we go along, you really have to do your homework with Japanese whiskey because they, for a long time, they didn't have any rules.
Yeah.
And they have rules now, but the rules haven't quite taken effect. It was just in April of this year, and Japanese whiskey was kind of a shit show. It's still kind of a shit show.
Right.
So we're going to try to walk you through the rules and what you should look for Japanese whiskeys.
Right, shout out to local liquor store, our good friends up in Nash and Cherry Hill. I was in there this week. They had 31 different Japanese whiskeys on the shelf, which is absolutely mind-blowing. You're lucky to find 5 or 6.
Yeah.
To have 31 separate expressions. And that's just what I saw. I'm sure I probably missed a couple. They're probably going like, it's 38. I mean, they're probably like, God damn it, Ed, count. Simple math. No, but they had at least 31. Let me put it like that. Okay. So I think they're Irish with a Scottish lean. That's the way I feel about the ones I've tried. But once again, my experience has been very limited.
And that's why we're doing this podcast.
That's why we're here.
So right. So I have a couple paragraphs on the Hatozaki, and then the stats, and then we'll taste it, and then we'll taste some Japanese candies. Yummy. All right,
Sugoi.
Yeah. All right. So this is a little quick history with a Quickstory of the Hatozaki whiskey. Having been brewers since 1856, the Yanazawa family started experimenting with distilling spirits over a century ago in 1918, and it's been part of their legacy ever since. But it wasn't until the build-up to their 100-year anniversary of spirits production in 2018 that the company decided to replace their old stills with new copper pot stills and actually begin making whiskey. The new facility has been designed to produce Japanese single malts as well as other spirits, and has been named the Kaikyo Distillery at nearby Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, the longest suspension bridge in the world at nearly 2.5 miles. Refreshed by maritime winds, the site enjoys a specific climate of dry, temperate winters and hot, humid summers that are perfect for aging spirits. The Kyoto distillery now houses a rich and diverse cellar of casks made from several types of wood, including American oak, Japanese mizurnara oak, and sakura cherry wood, helping the unique flavors of their spirits flourish. Elegant, smooth, and easy to enjoy, Hatozaki Whiskey, named after the oldest stone lighthouse in Japan, built in 1603, enhances the pleasure of relaxing moments spent with friends, family, and loved ones, like tonight. Aww. From the curious amateur to the local connoisseur, Hatozaki appeals to everyone in a delightfully welcoming way. So this is 80 proof. The mash bill is not disclosed, but it says it's a 40% of single malt, with the rest being single grain whiskey sourced from all over the world, possibly from Japan, Scotland, Canada, and the U.S. The age is up to 12 years, and the price, Ed, you got this?
$37.
Kind of cheap for
very cheap,
Japanese whiskey.
Very cheap. And what really struck me is that the mash bill sounded like a shit show to me.
Yeah.
And yet I've seen online reports it's at least 6 years old and maybe as old as 12. That's very interesting for such a cheap Japanese whiskey.
Right, because it's a blend of all those.
So that makes me a little bit nervous. Like, what did they age 6 years if it's only $37?
Yeah. And because it's so light. I mean, can we talk about how light it is? It's like
healthy urine. It's like if this is your urine, you're perfectly hydrated.
I was just going to say that.
You're perfectly hydrated. You're doing everything right.
Right. It's just pale yellow.
There's actually a scale for colors that I want to learn. I've seen that before. Where it's like between a 0 and a 4, I think.
Okay.
This is a minus what then? Is it minus 2 for that?
I don't know. This looks like
this is a negative.
This looks like a 1. It goes like a 1.2, 1.3.
Oh, okay.
And they all have like little names like soft amber. Like, you're picking up paint swatches.
Well, we should get a color wheel and hold them up and say, this color is, that might be helpful,
It
actually.
looks like white wine.
It does look like white wine.
Yeah, it's got like a Chardonnay kind of
Wow,
look
it
to
really does. I didn't even think of that.
There's actually Chardonnay's a little darker than this.
Yeah, maybe Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio, yeah.
All right, so let's swirl the neat glass around.
Such light, fruity notes.
So I get Scotch right away.
Yep.
Oh, do you?
Scotch notes immediately.
You're getting that barley, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot of light fruit. Like everyone says plum when they mean light fruit, and that's kind of what I mean. Mm-hmm. Honey. Honey.
I was thinking actually like melon, like
melon?
like a honeydew.
Yes. That's half of what I said. Honey. I said honey.
Yeah. Dew.
Do.
It's very interesting. So the neat glass, you swirl the neat glass around for those who have their neat glasses out at home.
Yes. To get the evaporation going.
Put it up so that your lips are right toward the edge of the rim. Keep your mouth closed. Breathe through both nostrils.
I mean, white grape, that kind of light
that
flavors.
light, sweet
aromas.
kind of fruit note.
I got definitely single malt and grain. I'm definitely tasting that. I'm tasting like some type of a grain to it. There's a little bitterness on my nose. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of
Like a bitter,
funky
right?
earth.
Yeah, like a...
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm not really getting those aromas that you guys are getting, and it's quite pleasant on the nose for me.
Yeah, I think it's very pleasant.
Yeah, I would say I like the nose, but it is a little cloying, so I couldn't keep nosing this all day.
Okay. So you're saying we should just drink it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's try it.
Let's drink it.
Kampai.
Kampai. Oh. Ed, I don't think Ed likes it.
This reminds me, my first association was with Johnny Walker Black. I don't know if anyone else was there, but that's my first impression when I drank it.
It's got a weird immediate taste on the tongue. I like the finish better than the initial palate.
What are you getting on the finish?
The light fruit notes that I was tasting before.
Okay.
I see honey. I got
honey, yeah.
The finish is much nicer.
The finish really ends quickly, but it ends nicely. But the initial sting on your tongue is off-putting.
So it's very almost like gravelly.
Gravelly?
Like, so earthy, but like specifically, like I'm going back to mud pie era Anders, but I get like granite.
Granite.
Oh, so minerally.
Very mineralistic, like almost in the way of like a Greek wine.
I can see that.
Like an Assyrtiko.
Yeah.
So,
and Japanese whiskeys are going to be a little bit lighter flavor than your bourbons or your ryes or your scotches or something like that. They are all very light. Even the ones that we had last time, which we all really enjoyed, the Toki and the coffee malt.
The Toki is incredibly light.
Yeah.
So the tasting notes here are surprisingly sweet with moderated notes of almonds, coconut, and lemon.
Yeah.
And with the finish, clean with lingering marzipan and hints of fruit. So you said hints of fruit on the finish.
Yeah. It does finish
I
clean,
can
though.
see it.
And baklava, right? With the nuts.
Ooh.
Yeah,
and
the
the
honey.
syrup.
Yeah, they're like pistachios, right? And,
Wow, that is amazing tasting.
Yeah.
Baklava.
baklava.
Yeah.
Baklava.
But on the finish, I think the beginning is still a little bit earthy, funky, and the beginning was like the smell for me, and I didn't care for it, but I like the finish.
Yeah, the finish is
yeah.
very clean, as it says. Yeah.
I'm going back to like the honeydew where it's got like a little bit of that funk to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit of that. Still the granite, like eating the gray gravel.
Okay.
And then on the end for the lemon, it's almost like lemon oil.
Yeah.
Or like
Like a
where
Meyer
it's
lemon,
like a
sweeter.
more sweeter, syrupy kind of lemon rather
Yeah.
than like a bitterness or like a sourness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. This just reminds me of a decent scotch.
Really? Okay. So you're tasting a lot of the barley spice on it.
Yeah, I am. I am.
So you liked it then? You think for $37, good deal?
I actually like it a lot. But like we talk about a peppery finish. It's
Yeah.
like a scotch with a peppery finish,
Yeah.
which is kind of odd.
It does have a little bit of a peppery finish, but it's not like a rye or anything like that.
No.
I think it's decent. I don't think I would buy it again. It's not really my thing.
It's not my thing either, but once again, if you do like a nice blended scotch for $37, you're going to be hard pressed to find something in that price range as complex as this. Is that fair?
Yeah. And also, to be fair, I think this is actually created to put in highballs.
Yeah, this screams like a highball.
Yeah,
whiskey to
this would
me.
go great in a
like,
highball.
Like a
Rob Roy or something? Is
So a highball in the US that'd be like a bourbon and ginger, but in Japan it's like a lighter whiskey with a club soda.
Oh.
So that's like the happy hour special in terms of modern Japanese cocktail culture. So like this screams like a highball whiskey to me. Otherwise, it's kind of like
Yeah, drinking it neat.
fine.
Yeah.
And I get like a metallic taste at the end of it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like almost like the spoon that you stir your thing and you lick it off at the end and you get
Yeah.
that silvery.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the flavor really does drop off,
Yeah.
and it leaves you with your own mouth taste.
I think I'm getting like some of the like
I've
the,
never heard you say that.
It tastes like my mouth.
It tastes like my mouth. It tastes like my tongue in the morning. Like such a.
Oh well, no, not in the morning. No,
Okay.
midday.
like a it's like a 2 o'clock.
They're jogs.
Yeah.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, so maybe like that's some of the mineralistic notes that I'm getting, but like I'll
Yes,
get like that kind of like metallic kind of flavors when I'm eating Frosted Flakes.
Really?
Because you're tasting the spoon.
Yeah, like
maybe?
the spoon, but even like it's like I don't know if it's like just fortified with iron.
You're tasting the minerals.
Yeah, you get like
Wow.
All right. Yeah. So right now, guys, want to try some Japanese candies?
Yeah, some
of
Japanese candies.
course.
きっと約束だよいつかまた同じ笑顔で
Like last time we had a Japanese episode, we ordered all these snacks from Japan, which basically tasted like fish and soy sauce. So
they were the best.
Now they were great. They actually were good. So,
Just grab it and take a few candies.
Rachel, I forgot the dried squid. I'm sorry. Rain check. I'll bring some to the lounge.
Okay.
There's all kinds of stuff in here.
Ramen soda
So,
candies. That's adorable.
I think it's important to mention at this point that Rachel has a connection to Japan.
Yeah.
She was kidnapped as a child and raised by a Japanese family. No, her family had moved to Japan on business, right?
My dad was he was a graduate student, and so they had 3 children at the time. And he had to write his thesis, so they were going to go and live there for 1 year. He went there on a Fulbright grant.
Oh, nice.
Oh, God.
They had another child. We always tease my youngest brother, say it's tattooed "Made in Japan" on his foot.
Yeah.
And 8 years later, my mom finally said, "Joe, you can stay." But the kids and I think, are going to go back home now. But so my early childhood was spent in Japan. We lived in Kyoto.
How many years was that?
About 8.
8 years.
Could you please expand that your dad did come back with your mother?
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
Oh, yeah.
So your dad was
They're still together.
Yes. That sounded like
They are still
That sounded like,
together.
oh, we're going home and you stay here forever.
So your dad was an incredibly slow learner, is what I'm getting.
No, He's an absent-minded professor, procrastinator.
You said he was a graduate
I
student.
see.
Like, he couldn't be a graduate student for 8 years, was he?
No, I mean, he was well into his PhD, and he's still ABD, right? He never wrote his dissertation. He ended up working for a Japanese company, and he's still doing some consulting.
All right, so what did you guys get on the snacks? We have gummies, we have chewy and crunchy candies, and hard candies.
I got a chewy, strawberry high chew.
Was it good?
Yeah, it actually was.
I have a black coffee hard candy.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I wish that was me.
I got like a softer milk candy.
Okay.
I have another one that's a little bit harder as well.
I want more candy. I don't like my choices.
Oh, you don't like your choices.
I got a
Here's the bowl.
A Pika Crunch milk candy.
I feel like
Delicious.
I feel like I was at my aunt's house.
These milk candies are really good.
It's like a strawberry cream. It's really good.
Okay. This black coffee candy, wow, it really tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
What is that one?
This is this cola.
Oh, there's cola candy. I have a super cola.
and then a ramen soda.
Oh,
Oh,
it's sour.
Super cola sour?
Probably on the outside.
Oh, it's got sour powder on
Oh,
it.
that ascorbic kind of.
First,
yeah.
first it's sour.
Here, you want something
Then
else,
it's
baby?
sweet.
Oh my God, it is sour. Holy crap. Wow. Taste the whiskey with it.
Go for it.
Oh no! It doesn't. Oh,
Oh, you know what? I can really taste the barley on the whiskey now because I have the sour lemon sort of thing in my mouth. How is this cola?
and mine just cracked open. Let's see.
Yeah, don't chip a tooth on it.
It's like cola soda. It's like a soda.
Oh, it's got like a fizziness in it.
It does.
Like a pop rock almost?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got a fizzy little center in there. You know, now it does taste like cola. Wow. Man, the Japanese
Kind of like how
candies
like
are
a bottle
strange.
cap kind of tastes like soda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I didn't think I was going to like that at all. Just like the snacks, when we had them, we were like really surprised how actually good they are.
Yeah.
Rachel, I don't think that they had these kind of snacks back when you were young. Do you remember having Japanese snacks back then?
Yeah, I mean, my brothers and I still get together, and there are things that we loved growing up that you can't really find so easily.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that we really like was, in this country, they call it kalpiko, and it's, originally it's kalpisu, which sounds like cow piss, so they say it right. So, and
Kalpisu.
yeah, and it's like a slightly fermented dairy product, almost like yogurt, really pale.
Okay.
And you buy it in a concentrate. So it's in a bottle that's covered with paper that's dark, like navy blue with white dots all over it. And they do make some cocktails out of it, but it is a childhood. And I know when I went back to Japan several years ago for work, they have it now flavored with like mango and all these different things. But I found it one year and I gave it to all my brothers in a wine bag. So they thought I got them a fancy wine. And of course it was kalpi soup. So
I'm sure they were thrilled.
I like to think
Yay,
so.
cow piss, yay!
And what's the?
Cow piss, yay!
All right, so we got two more whiskeys to get through. Let's get to them.
We do.
That was not my cup of tea, but not a terrible whiskey. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so.
I actually enjoyed it.
And maybe if you are a Scotch lover like Marty is, maybe you would like it more than the rest
Like
of us
I
did.
said, if you're a Johnny Walker Black guy, I like to drink. Not if you're a black guy, but if you like Johnny Walker Black, or if you're a black guy. I mean, it could. I'm not saying you have to be a black guy to like it. You could be. No, but I don't know that it's up with the green or the platinum. But if you like Johnny Walker Black, I think that this is probably a little bit cheaper, and give it a try, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay, so we'll take a break, clean our glasses, and we'll be back with the Mars Iwai.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so we're back, and we're continuing to chew on all of our candies.
Wow.
So many chewing sounds in the microphone.
Various candy sounds.
It's like you're eating a chewy, and all of a sudden these little drops fall in your mouth from inside the chewy,
Right.
and they all have different flavors. And
They have surprises inside of the chews.
yeah, they didn't have these candies when Rach was little. They just had basically sardines with sugar on them.
Calling me old.
Whoa!
Marty, help me.
I cannot help
Marty,
you.
what's the
I
problem?
cannot help you, Ed.
You stepped in that trap.
Yep.
All right.
You can get yourself out.
Now I'm going to have to knock myself unconscious on the counter to to keep from answering. It's the only choice I have. Please enjoy the podcast without me.
And just no more cookies for you.
Right, because Rachel did make Godzilla poop cookies.
Oh, they're so good.
They say he's got to go. Go, Godzilla.
She's like, should I make cookies in a text chain? I'm like, yeah, either in the shape of Japan or Godzilla. She's like, well, maybe Godzilla poop. And I'm like, sure.
So she made sugar cookies drizzled with matcha, which makes them like green colored.
Yeah.
Well, there's matcha in the cookie, so the cookie is a lovely, like, olive green tint to it.
Yes,
Right.
Which
exactly. Lovely.
Like
so appetizing.
Godzilla is a vegetarian?
He's an atom-atarian.
Atom-atarian.
I figure Godzilla poop would be like a city bus, right? I mean,
These are slices.
right. there we
Off
go.
the- right.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
not in the Matthew Broderick version. We don't talk about that.
We won't talk about that one. It's not canon. So the new Japanese regulations that I mentioned in the intro, because of the demand for Japanese whiskey over the past decade and over the past 5 years even, imports from Japan more than tripled, increasing from 18.4 million to 67.4 million, which of course caused the supply of Japanese whiskey to become quickly depleted, which resulted in some producers using non-traditional, quote unquote, questionable methods to pump up supply. And then, of course, there was a backlash against them because they felt that the rules were so flexible in Japanese whiskey. Basically, you could import the whiskey from other countries. As long as you imported it into Japan and bottled it in Japan, you could then export it and say it was Japanese whiskey, even though it
Surely
really wasn't.
right.
Right. So Japan's producers banded together, and in April of 2021, this year, the Japanese Spirits Liqueurs Makers Association implemented new labeling standards for its members. Number 1, malted grains must always be used, but may also include unmalted grains. Number 2, any water used must be extracted in Japan. Number 3, the mashing, fermentation, and distillation must take place in Japan. Number 4, aging must occur in wooden casks stored in Japan for at least 3 years. Number 5, bottling must take place only in Japan with a minimum strength of 40% ABV. And number 6, plain caramel coloring may be used. The problem with this is not all the producers of Japanese whiskeys are members of this coalition. So like I said, it's still kind of a shit show, and you really need to do your homework to find out if it's actually Japanese whiskey in the bottle.
Well, I can assure you that the Hatozaki does not use any caramel color. The first whiskey couldn't be more pale. So they're trying to be true to the purity of the specimen for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to...
And I mean specimen, but go ahead.
I use that term literally. I have a few paragraphs on the Mars Iwai, which kind of connects to our last episode where we talked about Nikka and Suntory and how they had a connection with each other. That also has a connection to the Mars Iwai. So real quick, and then we'll taste this.
Yeah.
In our first Japanese episode, we talked about Masataka Takasuro, which I love to say, who went to Scotland in 1918 to learn how to make scotch for a distilling company that was interested in getting into the whiskey business. However, by the time he returned...
Who returned?
Masataka Takasuro.
I'm sorry, who was it?
Masataka Takasuro.
Okay.
However, by the time he returned, the company had lost interest in making whiskey, and Takasuro was eventually hired by Suntory, where he worked for about a decade, after which he left to create Nikka. So, the company that paid for Takatsuro's Scotch education was Mars.
Oh, wow.
And the person who advised him was a man named Kiichiro Iwai, whose name is on the bottle because when the company did rekindle their interest in making whiskey, it was him using Takatsuro's original notes who advised the company on how to get started in the whiskey business. So, although far lesser known than the Suntory and Nikka, Mars has been distilling since 1909.
Interesting.
When the Hambo family began producing shochu, a hard liquor distilled from various grains and vegetables like barley, rice, and sweet potatoes in the Kagoshima prefecture, making it the southernmost distillery in Japan. However, it wasn't until 1949 that Mars began distilling whiskey. In 1984, Mars moved their distillery to the idyllic alpine setting of Miyata Village in the Nagano prefecture, located between Japan's southern Alps and central Alps, and at 2,600 feet above sea level, the Mars Shinshu distillery is Japan's highest, a site chosen for its cool temperatures and plentiful aquifers fed by granite-filtered snowmelt. In 2016, Mars reopened their original southernmost distillery in Kagoshima, calling it the Mars Sunuki Distillery, introducing pot stills to the site while also building a brand new facility specifically for aging barrels on the tiny island of Yakushima, all of which today makes Mars the fourth largest producer of whiskey in Japan. This is a proof of 90.
It's exciting.
They have a lower proof expression of 80, but this is the 91. That's why it's called 45, because 45%. The mash bill is 70% corn, 30% malted barley.
Interesting.
It's almost like a bourbon then.
Yes. If it was distilled in America, it would be a bourbon.
That's interesting because certainly the first one was with the malted barley was much more scotchy.
Right. The age saving is 2 to 5 years. The price is under $35. I got it for $34.
Yeah.
And Whiskey Advocate, as Ed mentioned earlier, was in their top 20 whiskeys of 2020, and they gave it an overall score of 91.
Right. And I have their tasting notes here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So once again, I'm going to take you through the directions here that comes with the glass because I think it's neat.
Roll credits.
Put about 1.5 ounces in there, which you've done. Hold the glass level, swirl rigorously, promoting evaporation. Then you unhold the glass, nose at center of sweet spot, in the rim plane. Close the mouth and sniff through the nose only to get character aromas. Move the nose across the rim plane to the rim edge to detect florals and other lighter character aromas. Diffuse ethanol will appear at the rim. All right, so let's take a whiff. Uncapping.
I'm getting more barley on this one than I did the other one.
Good.
Yeah.
Even though I think there's less barley in this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
30%? No.
Right, there's no rye, right? It's just corn and barley, right?
Yeah, you definitely smell it.
Right.
It's a really interesting mash bill by itself.
Yeah. I'm getting the same sort of light fruit notes that I was getting before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honey again, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Like pear.
Yeah, I
Wow.
get that pear as well.
So I got to tell you the tasting notes over here because you guys have hit pretty much all of them.
Oh.
Honey, ripening pear, barley, some citrus, and my nickname in college as well, exotic woods.
Oh, geez.
So, I mean, the fact that you got pear and honey and barley,
Yeah.
really good job, everybody.
The pear is really apparent to me.
And once
It's
again-
apparent.
I hate to beat a dead horse here, but the neat glass is taking you right to the flavors and aromas that
Yeah.
are present.
Yeah.
And it's getting you past the nose numbing ethanol. And that's why we advocate it. That's why we use it. That's why we have a relationship with them.
Whew.
Let's give it a little try now. We also taste it since we've hit the nose so
Yeah,
well.
I just tasted it.
Wow. So different than the first one.
Yeah, this is a much deeper flavor than the first one. This is really nice. Spicy.
I'm getting a lot of what we smell. I'm getting sweetness, honey.
Yeah, honey.
Honey, a little bit of
Pear.
woodiness, oaky.
Yeah. A little mineralistic as well, but not as much as the first.
It tastes a little more scotchy than I think the first one did. Marty, do you agree or no?
No, not at all. Not at
No?
all.
Oh, no way.
Because I didn't really taste the barley or spice on it, but I think I am this time.
Just so you know, I'm having a hard time with the notes. I just don't really smell a lot. I don't know why. Maybe I had one of these candies, but now when I taste it,
Now it's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out, but I couldn't even really get much on that.
Yeah, I mean, the Japanese whiskeys are kind of like that. They're really light in flavor, light on the nose.
Yeah, very light on the nose.
Light in color, as we've talked about. This one, of course, is a little darker. This one is sort of, Anders, what would you call this?
I'd say it's like a 3. Let's say that's
Honey?
like a let's say
medium
that's
grade?
like a spring honey, like a clover honey.
Yeah.
I don't taste scotch here. You could tell me it's more of an Irish whiskey,
Well,
maybe?
what I mean is it tastes more like a scotch to me than the first one did. That's all I mean.
That stuns me because the first one was, like I said, as soon as I tasted it, I yelled out Johnny Walker.
Yeah. But for me, I really didn't taste that. It's so strange that the five of us have really tasted different things on these whiskeys.
I was kind of expecting more of a scotch taste than I'm actually getting. I'm not really getting it either.
Yeah.
Shockingly, I'm getting a bit of a rye taste.
Yeah.
Right, there's no rye. I actually can advocate that there's some spice in it, but once again, we know that could be the yeast that they're using too. So you smelled barley in the nose. I really didn't, but I definitely taste not just barley, but grain.
I'm getting a good amount of that barley, actually. I added a couple of drops of water.
Oh, yeah.
And the barley is really loud.
Yeah, let me
now.
try that. Yeah, this is really good whiskey, though, by the way.
It does remind me of an Irish whiskey, though, after you say that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to place it in between a bourbon and an Irish whiskey.
Right, because the Irish isn't as barley forward as Scotch is. It's kind of like Scotch light, which is why I like Irish whiskey more than Scotch.
More because it's triple distilled, right? It makes it smoother.
It's grassy, a lot of barley, some kind of citrus notes, a lot of honey still.
Yeah.
The exotic honey, like the wildflower honey that can be a
Yeah.
little bit more perfumey. That's what I taste.
Interesting. So, I mean, it is 70% corn. Is anybody tasting any corn on this?
Well, I mean, we're getting the, everyone said honey and vanilla, which
Yeah.
I think comes from the sweetness of the corn. Yeah, you're not maybe tasting corn, but you're tasting a lot of sweetness to this whiskey.
With the water, honey and spice is what I'm getting
confused.
now.
Yeah.
The one thing that confuses me is at 90 proof.
Yep.
This could be a $45 whiskey, and I don't think it would stop me from buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's complex enough and it's talented enough that I'm surprised at the price, being that it's,
Right.
that is from Japan.
Yeah. It's a Japanese whiskey that's pretty cheap. And I think that's one of the reasons why we chose it. But the other reason was we love the award. Yeah.
I did because it's like we're always trying to bring people deals. $34 for a whiskey of all the whiskeys in the world that Whiskey Advocate could have chosen. They chose this.
Yeah.
And by the way, there was not many on that list cheaper than this.
Right. And certainly cheaper than the one we're going to do.
Right.
The last whiskey.
The last
yeah.
one, which is almost worth what these two are, doubled. Not quite, but
Right. Add these together times 2 minus about $20.
yeah, right.
So verdict? I really like this. Absolutely better than the other one.
And different. Like, I mean, what have you really tasted that tastes like this? This is a very unique tasting whiskey. The finishes, by the way, honey, breakfast cereal, nougat, and white chocolate. So
Nougat.
Like the palate's super sweet. Like I get all
It
that,
is,
but
yeah.
then the finish I don't think is as sweet. But
Yeah.
still
It's not.
good. I mean, it's really good.
Do you like this better than the first one?
Yes,
Because you really
yes.
like the first one.
I did, but I like Scotch. But I'd rather drink a nice bourbon.
Okay.
I would.
yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother. Rachel, you didn't like the first one. You like this one better?
Oh, much
better. Yeah.
And I really like the floral notes.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So next round of candy,
Okay.
we have KitKats that you can only get in Japan.
きっと約束だよいつかまた同じ笑顔で
All right. So we're going to do the same thing. Just grab 3 because there's 15. There's 5 of us here.
All right, 3 Kit Kats. And they're all different flavors?
All different flavors.
Oh, boy. Oh, they're small. Okay.
Yeah, they're small.
All they say is Kit Kat and then Japanese writing. I have no idea what the different flavors are.
About half of them have English writing on them, and the other half don't. And I have the flavors of most of them.
Mont Blanc.
Where do you see that? Oh.
Not all of them have it.
All right, I see. One says maple. I think is that an apple?
I just got a lot of green ones. This is... So we got ume.
Ume.
It's kind of cool.
Ume Thermit.
Ed, which one you were asking about?
The red one?
The red one is the one I don't know anything about. What? The purple one
excited
might
for
be purple sweet potato
Ooh.
flavored.
Matcha tiramisu.
Ooh.
Who has the trick or treat one? It's got the kids and like that's cinnamon apple.
Yeah, there's an apple and a cinnamon on it.
Okay.
We can share these because they have 2 sticks.
Yeah, there
in
are 2 sticks. So like if you don't really like it, Marty's like,
Anybody
no.
wanna trade?
Marty doesn't want to trade. I got.
I will not break off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Give
It's
me
the
a
ume,
break.
and then
Give
that's
me
a...
a break.
The apple cinnamon one starts good.
Yeah.
And then ends like an air freshener.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
Yep.
I have summer mango. I'm gonna try it.
Me too.
Oh, you do too?
half.
Oh no, you have the mango. I have orange. Sorry.
Did you want mango?
Oh, you want to trade orange for a mango?
I have a maple. Anyone trade?
Oh, the orange one is really good.
Mango's kind of artificial.
Yeah, wow, it tastes like chemicals.
It tastes really bad.
Yeah, the mango's not very good. The orange is much better.
Okay, I'm going to do that to cleanse my palate.
With the orange. Marty, which one did you have?
I don't know.
We did a
What,
couple
what
of...
color was the packaging?
I'm colorblind.
Oh, Jesus.
There was a black one that we swapped for we split them in half and swapped one of each.
Okay, the black one is dark chocolate.
Okay,
that's
that was
the one I had.
good. I traded Marty a matcha tiramisu flavor.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah. Who has the Mont Blanc?
Oh, we just had it.
Oh, yeah, that's a chestnut
mango?
cream. There was a warning sticker on the package that I got, and it's specifically for the Mont Blanc. And it says, Mont Blanc flavor contains 0.1% alcohol. Please refrain from children and those who are weak in alcohol.
Oh, wow. We are strong in that. Alcohol is strong in that.
I'm strong in the alcohol.
I have an apple cinnamon in trade if anyone wants to try it for something they have.
I have a whole wheat one.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. It'll help me go tomorrow. Oh, finally, something healthy.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
That was like a sweet
What
tart.
is the red?
It's good, right?
I don't know what the red was.
Okay.
Regular.
It might be regular.
No, I think it's a regular one.
Might be.
Marty and I just had an ume one.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
It was really nice.
Oh,
Really good.
you know, the whole wheat one is nice.
Okay, the orange so far.
Wasn't that orange one?
Thank
Is,
you for giving up.
the orange one was the best one that I had.
Mango, I think was the worst.
Bullshit. I should have got the orange.
Oh my God, it's this apple cinnamon one. You can smell it.
It's so strong. The maple was strong too, by the way. Wasn't it? Who got the maple?
Yeah.
As soon as you started bringing the maple up to like 6 inches away, your whole nose was mapled.
Oh, the apple cinnamon was nice. It's strong, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
I don't think not better than the orange.
But I said, doesn't it become like kind of like an air freshener at the end of it? Like
Yeah.
the finish is not good. The palate is delicious, and then you go, oh, it tastes like a candle. or an air
Somebody sprayed air freshener
Yeah,
on my
someone's
face.
right. The apple cinnamon glade just got blown in my face.
Oh, the last one I have is the dark matcha,
Candy tangent.
candy tangent.
Yep.
Don't eat the mango.
Yeah, the mango was chemically.
Yeah.
Oh, Marty's just going to eat it anyway.
He went right for
it.
the mango,
Oh, it's horrible.
I told you.
I told you that.
but he had to experience
I
it.
can smell it.
So brave, so brave.
All right. So that was the last round of candies. That was really good.
Yeah.
They have tons of different. They have like sake flavors and.
I was really happy with my candies. Actually.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
this
you.
was a
You
good.
guys got the matcha. That would be good.
This was
Yeah.
a, this
I
was
got
a
matcha
good.
and matcha tiramisu.
yeah, and I got the dark matcha.
And we have matcha cookies and matcha love in the room.
I think the ume. I think the ume was probably my favorite. That was really
Yeah. We're gonna cleanse our palates along with our glasses. Take a break, and we'll come back with the very expensive and very anticipated Hibiki Harmony.
Okay, so we're back. We have filled our glasses with a much anticipated expression.
Yes.
Hibiki Harmony, which I wanted to have on the first episode, and Andre said, walk before you run.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a Japanese proverb, but I felt like it was at the time. Because then he just kind of disappeared from in front of me like Yoda.
We are done our KitKats. Hopefully, the delicious KitKats won't affect our tasting.
Well,
of this.
we did take 20 minutes to cleanse the palate.
We did. So this is the Hibiki Japanese Harmony. 2 paragraphs on this, and then we'll get to drinking because we are super excited to have this.
First of all, the bottle is
Gorgeous.
is definitely twice as fancy as the other 2 bottles combined.
It's got a glass stopper. It's all serrated. Serrated. That's not the right.
Faceted.
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 Thank you. And a nice script on it, and it's got a nice color to it.
It's a decanter.
It is
Yeah,
a decanter.
basically, you're right. It is a decanter bottle. That's a great point.
Yes. So here we go. Launched in 1989 to commemorate the Suntory Company's 90th anniversary, Hibiki Harmony has been embraced as the paragon of Japanese whiskey ever since. As the very product of Japanese nature and her people, Harmony is rather an appropriate word to describe this well-balanced Japanese blend. Made with innumerable malt and grain whiskeys from Beam Suntory's Yamazaki, Hakushu, and Chita distilleries, a total of 5 different casks were used, including American oak, ex-sherry butts, and mizurnara oak casks, which were then meticulously blended to create a full orchestra of flavors and aromas. Seductive, blossoming, and energetic, Hibiki Japanese Harmony Whiskey is a uniquely elegant expression with notes of honey, orange, light oak, and a slightly herbaceous touch. Not only is it Japan's most highly awarded blended whiskey, it's among the most prestigious and honored whiskeys in the world.
Ooh, I've caught the vapors.
My goodness.
My goodness. Ooh.
Its proof is 86. It is a blend of malt and grain whiskeys from Japan. So this is a Japanese whiskey. According to the new rules that we talked about earlier, the distiller, blender, bottler, owner, Beam Suntory, the age is not stated. It used to be a 12-year, but like everything in Beam Suntory, it's artfully aged. The price, Ed, do you even want to discuss it?
It should be around 90.
Yeah.
I've seen it for a long time, a couple years at around 90, even as low as 75 in some places.
Wow.
When I first started seeing it. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
I found it at Morrow Brothers, who, to their credit, has everything.
Right.
But as my aunt used to say, bring all your money.
Yes.
So this was $125. The manager, Chris, gave me 10% off.
Okay. That was very nice.
So that took, what, $12.50 off?
Sure.
And so whatever $12.50 is minus $125. And so it's about $112.
$112.50.
It was a point where I probably could have driven around for another day or two and found it at 100, but we were running out of time.
Yeah, we didn't have it another day or two.
I'd been to 4 other places that didn't have it.
Yeah.
And even Benash, who has at least 31.
38.
38, Ed.
God damn it, that is like we have 150. You just have to go in the back room. No, you have, I didn't see Harmony there.
No,
and you didn't see it either, Scott.
No, I
You
went
were
to
there.
4 other liquor stores too, and I did not see the
Right, so that's 8 different stores. So I actually called Scott. I'm like, Scott, I got to pull the trigger on this.
Yeah,
and he's like, all right, because
just do it. And the other 2 were cheap.
yeah, it was fine.
There is no age statement on this, correct?
Correct.
But it's somewhere around 10 to 12, I would say. They
Yeah,
didn't drop
probably.
it down to 4.
There is
Right.
a reason that there is no longer an age statement for it. Mm-hmm. So the way that distillers like Yamazaki and Nikka are combating the whiskey shortage is by doing blends without age statements.
Right.
Because you only have so many Yamazaki 12s.
Right.
Take a little while to make. But if you do blends that are still very good and made from long-standing, like 100-year reputable distillers from Japan, that's what they're doing to compensate rather than like getting 30%
From
Canadian
another,
rye.
exactly, which is what the Hatozaki was doing.
Right. So question, Anders, is it's also possible that if they are, let's say, 80% 12-year and they put 20% of 5-year in, would they have to be required to say it's 5-year then?
It would be a 5-year, but the idea is that they're like doing a blend that matches what the Hibiki 12 tasted like as best as they can.
Right.
But they're using like a 5-year
To cut it a bit. So just because it doesn't have an age statement doesn't mean it's trash whiskey.
Yeah.
Right.
It means that they might be handcuffed by what they've decided to do, and an age statement would misrepresent how old the whiskey really is.
The age statement is always the youngest whiskey in the bottle.
Yeah.
Right.
They do have a 17, I think, still, and a 21.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if our panel here was a whiskey, our age statement would be 30, because that's Anders.
Right, because he's the youngest spirit in here.
I gotta hang up.
Feeling good now.
Yeah, let's say, we're 30? Oh,
You're welcome, guys.
Your age statement?
So Anders would make us all be artfully aged.
right. Okay, so let's
Inch of perfection, you know.
let's smell it. Oh, so much more.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I get apple right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 86 proof. Once again, the neat glass is just totally diffused the ethanol, so I'm getting such great sweet notes.
Yeah, this is nice.
So sweet. Like the sweet notes of the other 2, but so much more. So much more intense.
Like a green tea almost, too.
Honey.
And the oaks are there because there's so many different casks. You really can smell the oaks.
Yes.
Almost like cedar, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mizunara is getting really popular. Look, so there was the Heaven Store 26-year-old bootleg with the Mizunara cask that really kind of kicked it off. And I've seen a couple other Mizunara casks.
Yeah, the Mizunara oak is really interesting because it's a very twisty, windy tree, and it takes a long time for it to grow, like 200 years or something. So when they make a barrel out of it, they really want to reuse it over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's also really porous. So they have to do a lot of compensation for that because you lose a lot of the whiskey that you put in it. But apparently it's so flavorful that it's worth taking all that trouble to go through with the Mizunara.
So what are we smelling real quick?
I'm smelling peaches. Peaches is so
I was
present.
going to say cantaloupe, but maybe peaches, yeah.
And I don't even necessarily like peaches as a fruit, but I smell it. It has that like little sharpness.
My dad used to have a joke. Cantaloupe, the ladder's broke. I guess we have to honeydew.
Jesus.
He worked produce in the summer.
You knew all the produce jokes?
You know all the produce jokes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let us continue.
I have one more funny story. My dad used to bring home like loose grapes. He used to shake the whole fucking box of grapes and then like dump the loose ones into a bag and get them for like real cheap. One time my sister pulled one out with 3 grapes attached. She turned to my mother and goes, "Is this how grapes grow?" My mother says, "Jesus Christ, can you bring home a bunch of grapes so your daughter knows what grapes look like? You cheap bastard." I added the cheap bastard part, but just a funny story. That's my 2 produce stories.
The produce, yeah. Let's taste it.
Yeah, thank God, finally.
Ooh.
Wow, complex. A lot going on there. There's a lot of flavors that just burst into your mouth.
Yeah, this is definitely the most complex thing we tasted today.
Real quick, we do the nose.
Okay.
So they had a lot on the nose. They had honey, white grapes, apple, which I got, peach, which you got, Scott. They do have green tea, which I smelled, raisins.
Raisins, interesting.
So floral and vegetal notes, and oak.
Okay.
So then,
we got the
now
woods.
the palate. What are we tasting? Anything different than the nose?
I'm looking for some of those vegetable notes. I get some of that green tea. Like, it's a little tannic.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's really nice.
It is really nice. I taste like deep dark sugars, brown sugar, I guess. But again, Japanese whiskeys, it's lighter than what you would expect from like a bourbon or a rye.
Well, it's 86 proof.
And it is 86 proof.
Yeah.
But
it's quite good though.
Reminds me of an oaky tea, actually.
Yeah, it is a little astringent too on the end where it's kind of drying, but it has a nice finish.
Great finish, actually.
on the palate, they said we should have sweet and full notes of honey.
Yes.
Warm baked fruits, vanilla caramels, honeydew. Shout out to my dad. And toasted flatbread and a faint touch of oaky bitterness.
Okay.
So the finish, and you're going to like this, Anders, is short and light with traces of oak honey tea, which is the tannic you were getting, I think, and the dried apple and pear.
Pear. Yeah.
Really, it's a fruit basket.
This is delicious. I mean, 125 is a little much. I think this deserves to be at least 80. This is really nice.
Those apple and pear fruit notes are like really slight too. Like it's not like bold green apple and like Basque pears where it's like super juicy.
Yeah, none of these flavors are very
like
in your face.
Like Macintosh, like subtle.
Yeah,
it's more of
like a cooked apple. So it's
It says baked fruit. So
I'm just, I guess, edit this out. I'm cutting in and out, at least in the audio. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
You haven't. It's your headphones. You sound consistent.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
You didn't break up to us, but only to yourself.
Yeah, breaking up with myself.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, it sounds like a
profound.
Sound like Rick Springfield B song. I'm breaking up with myself because I hate me.
Just can't seem to be the person I used to be.
Well, someone else wants to jump on the cricket train.
Crickets, more crickets.
Who else? Marty, would you like to sing?
Thanks.
Rachel, you want to sing a song?
no.
Crickets anyway.
I think we've been outnumbered in the singing. This is the least singing
This
episode
is. Yeah, we
that
haven't really.
I've had.
We haven't really sang that much.
Evidently, we haven't drank enough.
Everyone at home is like, thank God.
We've actually had comments where you guys are great. You're so funny, except when you sing. Not even lying. And it's
That's true.
As I said, it's one step closer to my goal of being so popular that there's a whole website dedicated to people who hate what we do. Like, don't you think they're so pretentious? They think they know so much about whiskey. Fuck them.
WhiskeyTangentSucks.com.
Right.
And here are all the songs they sung badly.
Right. I want to be so big that Gabe has his own hate website where they just hate Gabe.
I hate Gabe.com.
All right. I started it. Started by me.
I'm buying up all those donating names tonight.
Yes, Gabe. Started by me, Gabe. That's right.
I hate Gabe at ed.com. Right. Poor Gabe. He's going to hear this and go, you God damn it.
Sometimes we get a random text, you bastards, and we realize that it's like Thursday and Gabe's halfway through the episode and he got to the part where he wasn't here to defend himself and I just like drag him through whatever pile of shit I feel like doing and he's not there. He usually beats me when he's on the air.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to win sometimes.
It's true. It's true. This is terrific. Guys, like Rachel, best one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
yeah. This is when you go and sit by a fire and hang out with good friends, right?
Yep.
Marty, too.
Again, cigar smoking buddies would love this one.
Yeah.
This is so good.
And it's one you bring. And that bottle, see, like Andre said, it's like a carafe itself,
is.
you know?
So
it's a decanter.
You would absolutely use that once it's gone. You could peel the label off and you could give it to someone as a present, as a carafe.
Yeah.
Right.
As a visual, this is what I like to think of my liquor bottles as a chess piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a nice rook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rook, absolutely.
It is. It's definitely a rook.
I'd like to make a whole chess sets out of liquor bottles with their shapes.
Oh, that'd be.
Oh, that's interesting.
That would be
Right.
You need 4 of these. That's $100.
Right.
That's $400. I'll figure we're going to figure out how expensive his chessboard would be.
So I always wanted to, for the lounge, is to make a chessboard out of mini bottles one day.
Yeah.
I just need to source them all, but I am adamant that I want Blanton's minis for the nights, and I won't settle for less.
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be great. But seriously though, if we're looking at Marty's idea, I think Hill Rock would make a nice king.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then
I agree.
What would be the queen?
Good question.
I think you need something like
Tall and elegant.
Oh, like the what's that Eagle Rare one?
Oh,
my God!
Double
The-
Eagle
the
or
double-
Eagle 17.
Wow! All right, if we're fantasizing, then yes,
The Double
Yes.
Eagle Double Rare.
They make that in a
is the
50
queen.
milliliter.
Well, then they might have to go king on that. 'Cause then you can't take $100 king and a $20,000.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the centerpiece,
Well, you
right?
could do boss hog then. You could do a boss hog.
Okay.
For the king.
Boss
and
hog?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
So order now your Whiskey Tangent whiskey bottle chess set for $40,000.
Right.
Just in time for Christmas.
For the low price.
So
Are we doing the advent calendar this year?
we are not doing
Okay,
that
just check it.
this year.
We'll cut it out.
I've
Right.
toyed around with doing something around an advent calendar for the podcast
Right.
where we would get together and we would do like 5 or 6 in a row on
Right,
one
right.
recording, but then we would release them every day
Right.
of
That would be fun.
of December. So maybe for next year.
Maybe next year we can do
think
that.
about
All right, well, let's finish this up.
Well, hold on. So, as I mentioned, if the guests were good,
Yeah.
they would get some presents.
Rachel's like, I thought the candy was a present. Don't give me anything. You guys are too much.
She's so sweet. So, because she's so sweet and she doesn't want a gift, she'll go first.
Ladies first. Okay, the first bag goes to Rachel.
Gosh.
It's a very
She knows what it is. Wait, I didn't authorize the big bottle.
The big bottle of Carpana Antica
That's illegal.
vermouth, basically the winner of our vermouth episode that Rachel had the inspiration for. And as I mentioned in the intro, it is our most popular cocktail episode. It's also one of our most popular episodes, period. Yeah, so that is a thank you to you for not only that, but also inviting us to your house and being so hospitable, making us cookies. I mean,
Buying us sushi.
yeah.
By,
Well, no, that was Marty.
Well, by marriage.
That's us. We're
Right, that's
a team. We're a
Right.
team.
Like I said, they're the whiskey power couple.
Right.
Thank you so much. This is really
Oh, you're welcome.
That'll last her at least 8 days.
You're not joking.
We'll do Marty next.
All right, Marty.
Thank
there
you
you go.
guys.
It makes you feel better, Marty. I forget completely what we got you.
Did you get me?
Yeah.
I got a Noah's Mill, baby.
Noah's Mill.
I am almost out of this.
Oh,
I am
perfect.
on
I
like
finished
the.
it, I think.
Oh, okay. We are out of this. Yes.
Awesome.
This is one of my
This
most
just
favorite
in Whiskey
bourbons.
Tangent exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's from
Oh,
Willet.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I remember you saying
I love this stuff.
that Noah's Mill was your favorite.
Yes.
Anders, because this is not only a Christmas present, it's also a birthday present, because as we mentioned, he is 30 this year, and it was just a couple weeks ago.
baby.
I'm out of this too.
It's the Lagavulin
16.
16
Oh my
year.
God, guys. Thank you.
Something you just don't want to buy for yourself, but you like to have.
It's a really nice high expression of the Lagavulin. Anders, as I said in the first Japanese episode, he brought both whiskeys for that podcast, and we drank them. He's been so nice to us at the lounge and very generous with his time and also with the whiskeys on several cocktail episodes. And he gave us the Lagavulin 8 year for the first Whiskey Madness. So we felt 30th birthday. It's Christmas. We'll
Let's
get you
double
the
it.
Yeah, we'll double it and give you the 16.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Honestly, like for people, guys in our 50s, Ed and I don't know, Marty, you may or may not experience this, but it's hard to make friends at this age. And Ed and I both feel that we've made several friends through Anders at the lounge.
Agreed.
And we're just very grateful to have the experience of drinking whiskey with you guys, doing podcasts with you guys, and just generally just hanging out and having good conversations.
Yeah, good times. And
So,
Feel the same way. Thank you.
Meri Karisimasu to all of you.
At least not.
salute. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Thanks, Merry Christmas. So I think that's it. Ed, take us out.
So,
Come by.
We gave you 3 different Japanese whiskeys. 2 of them very cheap. You have no reason not to try them if you have any curiosity about them.
Yeah, why not?
The Mars Iwai 45 is probably the best for your buck.
Yeah, agreed.
But when you're ready, when you're worthy, the Hibiki Japanese Harmony is a special whiskey and one that really defines what Japanese whiskey is at its best.
Yeah,
and
it's the best Japanese whiskey I've ever had.
Right. Yeah. It's not always going to be $125. You can find it a little cheaper. Even online, I think you can find about under $100.
Right.
All right. So we'd like to thank the Neat Glass for their support.
Thank you, Neat Glass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And really for helping us taste whiskey in a whole new way.
Yes.
Because me and Scott have always used it, but we didn't always make our guests use it.
Yeah.
But now everyone's kind of together on the same page, which makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
All right. So for the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Anders.
I'm Marty.
I'm Rachel.
Cheers, everybody, and happy holidays. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, be sure to check out our next episode, which is way better than this one.
Oh, yeah.
Also, follow and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Whiskey Tangent. And follow us on Twitter at Whiskey Tangent. You can follow me personally at That Whiskey Guy. And follow Scott at Giant Cup of Awesome, spelled AWSUM, just to be annoying.
Hey!
You can email us any questions, comments, or love at whiskeytangent@gmail.com. And of course, you can find us always at our podcast website, whiskeytangent.podbean.com.